A special thank you to each of our subscribers who make this channel possible. Here's today's story. In a groundbreaking ruling, U.S. District Judge Charles Breyer has declared President Donald Trump's decision to deploy military forces to quell protests in California illegal. This decision comes amidst ongoing tensions surrounding protests in Los Angeles, which erupted in response to the Trump administration's aggressive immigration policies. Judge Breyer issued an injunction to halt the deployment of nearly 4,000 National Guard troops and 700 U.S. Marines, emphasizing that the protests did not constitute a rebellion, as claimed by the president. The ruling will officially take effect on September 12th, allowing for a potential appeal from the Trump administration. Breyer's decision stems from a lawsuit filed by California Governor Gavin Newsom, who has been vocal in his opposition to Trump's policies. Newsom, alongside California Attorney General Rob Bonta, argued that the deployment violated the Posse Comitatus Act, which restricts military involvement in civilian law enforcement. Judge Breyer's 52-page ruling supports this assertion, stating that the Trump administration overstepped its authority and contradicted its own training materials regarding the limits of military engagement in domestic matters. This unprecedented action marks the first time since 1965 that a president has federalized National Guard troops to address unrest without the consent of a state governor. The last instance of such federalization occurred under President Lyndon B. Johnson, who deployed troops to protect civil rights demonstrators in Selma, Alabama. The protests in Los Angeles were ignited by Trump's harsh immigration enforcement tactics, which included widespread workplace raids. In a memo justifying the military deployment, Trump referred to the protests as a rebellion that warranted military intervention. However, both Newsom and Los Angeles Mayor Karen Bass condemned this characterization, arguing that military presence only escalated tensions rather than alleviating them. Trump's administration has faced criticism for its approach to immigration, with opponents claiming that it violates the rights of immigrants and places them in danger. In his ruling, Judge Breyer expressed skepticism towards the Trump administration's approach, describing it as a top-down method that sidelines state and local authorities. He highlighted the importance of the separation of powers as outlined in the U.S. Constitution, noting that while the president is the commander-in-chief, the authority to mobilize the military lies primarily with Congress. The judge dismissed claims from the Trump administration that it should have the final say on the limits of the Posse Comitatus Act, labeling such assertions a conflict of interest. This ruling represents a significant setback for Trump, who has continued to assert expansive presidential powers. Following the decision, Trump labeled Breyer as a radical left judge and has hinted at potential military deployments in other cities, including Chicago. As the legal battle unfolds, the implications of this ruling could have lasting effects on the balance of power between state and federal authorities, particularly in times of civil unrest. That's all for this story. We upload videos every day covering many different subjects, so hit that subscribe button to stay informed. Thanks for watching.